Hello Wolfpack, we're going to be analysing Chainlink today. We did a post on Twitter about which altcoins wanted to be analysed, and we chose Chainlink. Well, I chose Chainlink personally, and there's a few on there that I'd like to do in the future. But Chainlink is one that I've done previously, and I thought I might do it a little update here because I know a lot of my subscribers may have come to my channel because of Chainlink. And Chainlink's definitely a pretty popular coin, right? Popped off in 2020 during the bear market and gained a lot of traction in that region. And going into the bull market, it gained a lot of traction up until around the May period, from which it's basically just been kind of consolidating extensively, right? Which I understand, and Chainlink is in an interesting position right now. But daily chart, before we get started, the daily chart doesn't really tell us too much about Chainlink. What the daily chart does tell us, though, and we can remove all of his indicators and get a pretty clear-cut look here on Chainlink. Let's actually remove everything off this chart, okay? What we can do, start from scratch, remove everything off the chart. I like doing it like this because it gives the viewer a more straightforward approach, a more easy way to kind of think about what a coin's doing, okay? What we're seeing on Chainlink, okay, is basically an upwards trend, okay? It's essentially an upwards trend. On the weekly chart, we'll look at the upwards trend a little bit more, right? On the Bitcoin pair as well, and on the weekly chart on the USD pair. Okay, but essentially what's going on here on Chainlink is an upwards trend, and we could draw an upwards trending line here on the USD chart, something like this, and you can see that the structure is still very well maintained, okay, on Chainlink. And so we'll make this line, we'll keep it red actually, and we'll make it a little bit thicker so you guys can see that line. That is the important line, the most important line on Chainlink that we need to be holding, and dropping below that line right now today, if we drop below it today, we would have to drop below around 17.5, right? So $17.50. Keep that in mind, okay? Because if we drop below $17.50, the whole structure, and I mean the entire structure since the COVID drop in March 2020, is done. Chainlink's done and dusted. Pretty much a bear market for Chainlink, and it's not going to recover that well from there, right? We can't lose uptrending level supports that have been lasting this long on altcoins. Some altcoins have lost those uptrending level supports, such as RLC, which I talk about in this channel semi-regularly, right? And ultimately, it just puts it in a position where it can't really move upwards at the same capacity that it did before, and it puts it in a position where it just rejects from the top and just heads further down, right? So realistically, on Chainlink, we're still in a decent position because we haven't lost that uptrending line. Now, on a smaller scale and on a more immediate scale, as for support on Chainlink, we have a major zone of support here from around, let's see, and we can list it out here, from around the COVID drop area all the way up to here at around $20. So from around $13.50 all the way to $21 is a major support block. But if we wanted to narrow that down a little bit further, because that's obviously a very, very, very wide range, what I would say personally is that we're looking at it from this region here, from around $17 to around $21. And the reason why this is important is because this is a region in which Chainlink can double bottom, okay? We can see that in the past, this region has acted as resistance. Okay, it acted as resistance here in 2020 a few times, and it acted as support here, drop below it briefly here, but it ultimately acted as support as well, and it's just acted as support here and resistance over here. Now, on Chainlink, what I want to note, what I want to kind of get into here before I get into my predictions, is the fact that the structure right now, right, although technically upwards due to this uptrending line, this red uptrending line, is a bearish structure because we had a double top formation, which is an M pattern. Think of a McDonald's M, right? That's typically a double top formation in which you see downwards price action below where it started. And so that would indicate that we'd be heading below this line. However, the line itself and plus this support box that we're going to make green indicates that we might be bottoming out. And what we could be seeing on Chainlink is one more swing to the downside, retesting this red line, which would be a double bottom at around $17.50. And then a swing to the upside. That is a possible scenario here, and that would not only form a short-term double bottom, but also a longer-term double bottom like that, right? Like a big W formation like that. And that's the bull case for Chainlink. The daily chart doesn't really show us too much as to how we will get there, but the main takeaway from the daily chart, right, is that we need to be holding this uptrending red line. That's the main takeaway from the daily chart. This uptrending line, go ahead, copy my chart right now if you're interested in Chainlink, draw it in. If we lose that line, sell, get out, because it's not going to go anywhere, right? If we hold that line and we break above some resistance here, let's say, for example, let's bring up the bull market support band, and say we break above, we'll bring up all these indicators here. Say, okay, so the highest dynamic resistance zone on Chainlink right now is sitting at $26.90. So say that we break above, hypothetically, $26.90. That would confirm, and putting us over here, right? That would put us over here. That would confirm holding this red line for support, holding the green box for support, seeing a shorter term double bottom, and also a longer term double bottom on Chainlink. And that would be a very bullish structure in which you buy into Chainlink. Yes, if you waited for $26 $36.80 and you didn't buy in right now, you're not going to get as much return as you would. However, you'd be replacing that return potential with the higher likelihood of your trade being successful, and you take on much less risk if you waited for that confirmation above the market support band. Okay, and so look, we'll be looking at a gain from that point all the way up to at the very minimum around 37 USD. And so if you bought in after we broke above this bull market support band, which currently is at around $27, right? You'd be looking at a pretty easily 40% gain before the next major resistance, which would stem from these 3 points that I'm circling right now, okay? And so that's what I'm going to be doing on Chainlink. For the riskier investors, for the investors who are more bullish on the market, more confident we're going to go up, buying now is not a bad idea. However, I'm not personally doing that. That's not what I recommend people do, and that's not what my own ideas reflect. My own ideas reflect waiting for confirmation, and the confirmation, in my opinion, from Chainlink will come when we are above the bull market support band. When we are above that region, everything looks shiny and will probably swing up at least to that $36 to $37 region, as I said, and cop a pretty easy gain there on Chainlink, in which I'll make another video at that point, potentially. But it's always important, if you like my ideas, if you like the trading signals, go on to trading for yourself, set your alerts so you're notified as to when those patterns start to play out. On the weekly chart on Chainlink, what we can see here, which is kind of interesting, and the Bitcoin weekly chart, the Link BTC weekly chart is actually kind of more impressive here for Chainlink, but kind of the same pattern going on. We had this triangular structure, we broke to the downside, now we're holding support, right? Same thing. We're primed for a bullish MACD cross, which is good to see, but we're ultimately below our critical resistance zones, including the 50-week, including the 9-week, and including the bull market support band. So not really too much difference from the daily chart. Essentially just says, hey, we probably could bounce here, but it's not really we're not really confident enough for us to buy in right now. We'd really have to see some bullish price action first, and that bullish price action is going to come from a move up to around 27 USD or above, right, and breaking those dynamic resistance zones. From that point, it's pretty much a clear size ahead for Chainlink, which is very important to note. Now, on the Bitcoin pair, which is the last thing I want to talk about on Chainlink here, this is definitely the thing that looks the most bullish, okay, and the reason being is because on the Bitcoin pair, we're seeing holding the 200-week SMA for support. Usually we don't use dynamic support zones on the Bitcoin pair because it's a bit misleading. However, I think it's necessary in this scenario, and we're holding that for support. And the 200-week SMA on both the USD and Bitcoin pairs historically is one of the strongest resistance or support zones you're going to get. And obviously right now it's acting as support, right? In technical analysis, it's one of the strongest you're going to get, right? And so it's acting as support right now, which is great to see. We're also seeing that Chainlink is heading into a bullish MACD cross on the Bitcoin pair. But one thing we have to be noting on the Bitcoin pair is we've actually lost the uptrending level of support that's been forming since May 2019, right? On the Bitcoin pair, we've dropped below that, and we've actually come back up, and we've rejected off of it and headed back down to the 200-week. Right now, we're being clamped between that support and resistance. The green line is offering support, and the white line is offering resistance, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next. But essentially, we're either going to drop below this, and that would lead to, obviously, a drop below the red line on the USD pair, or we're going to break back above into the white line, and this will be labeled as a fake out, and we'll head up to new all-time highs on the Bitcoin pair, which obviously would lead to new all-time highs on the USD pair most likely. So, again, Chainlink is in a situation where I'm waiting for confirmation above around 27 USD. At that point, if we break 27 USD, it should be easy sailing, whatever that saying is, to 37 USD at the minimum. We should be able to cop an easy return there. Let's look at the return. It should be around 40% return. That should be relatively easy to cop on Chainlink. But until that point, until we break 27 USD, it's a pretty high risk trade. If you want to take it, by all means, go ahead. However, I'm not particularly confident in the market right now. I have to be, we're in a downwards trend on the long term, and so I'm waiting to be proven otherwise before I take any new trades. But that's my ideas for Chainlink. I think it looks okay, and I think it definitely has the potential to move upwards, but I'm not 100% confident right now, so I'll be waiting for that confirmation. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.